Hey YouTube, it's Emma Blue Eyes 10 here, and here it is, Blue Eyes Dragons, updated for the 1st September format. Now I know I'm a couple of days late with this, but I have been very busy with work, so I've just been struggling to find time to do videos and that, guys, so I'm really sorry about video updates. But anyway, I'm pretty sure a lot of you are wanting to see what the deck is like, because as you've seen from the tournament videos, my deck has changed quite considerably. I can't pronounce that word right, I'm really sorry. But anyway, so I'm pretty sure you want to see what change it is that's made to the deck, and of course I'll do the usual, explain the changes as it goes. So I hope you guys enjoy, and without further ado, let's begin the deck review. Okie dokie then, obviously start off with my absolute favourite monster in the entire game, Blue Eyes Shining Dragon. She's a Nomi, can only be summoned out by tributing a Blue Eyes ultimate dragon that I control. She's immune to targeting effects, and she gains 300 attack for every dragon in my graveyard. So, and normally by the time she gets out, there's already about 5 or more dragons in there, so she hits 45 attack pretty quickly, to say the least. And of course, with her immune to targeting effects, she's protected in some ways, but she's still vulnerable to things like, you know, Dark Hole, Mirror Force and stuff like that, unfortunately. But favourite card in the game, of course I'm going to play her. Okay, next we have 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons. Obviously, because it's a Blue Eyes White Dragon deck, you need 3 to make it work. And it's the signature card of Sept. Next we have 3 Baby Bluey Wooies. And level 1 Light Type Tuner. When it's sent to the graveyard via any means, I automatically add a Blue Eyes to hand. An interesting ruling I found about the White Stone recently is that if it's used as an XYZ material, because it's being sent to the graveyard, it doesn't say when it's destroyed or anything. When it's sent to the graveyard, its effect will still activate even if it was an XYZ material, because of its sending to the grave effect, which is quite cool, so I have to wait and see. Next we have 2 Kaiba Man. To tribute this card, you can special summon a Blue Eyes from your hand. Now, I think to make it clear, I am not running Totem Dragon anymore at all. Totem Dragon was severely limiting me in a lot of plays and a lot of things that I could do with the deck, and it was beginning to get frustrating, to say the least. And Totem Dragon, of course, was very good with the card Future Fusion and all that, but unfortunately, as you know, Future Fusion is banned, and as I said in the previous deck update, I wasn't liking Future Fusion anymore. I mean, it was a great combo card, it worked really well with the deck, but I was beginning to turn into one of those dragon duelists who really relied on it. In other words, the deck was beginning to heavily rely on just Future Fusion, and I didn't like that, so that's why I took it out. But besides that, as I said, Totem Dragon was really limiting me, because I have to play everything in my deck and extra deck had to be dragon. I couldn't run anything else, otherwise it wouldn't work. So I decided its time had come. It had done really well in the deck up until now, but it's time for it to go, unfortunately. So yeah, so I decided on 2 Kaiba Man, because obviously it's Blue Eyes themed, it's a light monster warrior, level 3, so it's good for overlaying and exceeding with and syncering with if I need to use it, and it's a classic Kaiba Blue Eyes card as well, so why not use it. I also preferred it over Ancient Rules because it's a monster, so if I need to set it, even if I don't have a Blue Eyes, use it to protect my life points, I can do that. Whereas with Ancient Rules, which was the magic card I generally favoured over Kaiba Man in my older decks, like from 2 or 3 years ago, you know, if I had been successful in fusing into the Blue Eyes, or all my Blue Eyes had been sent to the graveyard in some way, and I had Ancient Rules in my hand, it was a useless card. Whereas with Kaiba Man, at least I know I can protect myself and still go do combos with it, even without Blue Eyes, so yeah. Next we have 1 Alexandrite Dragon, just to beat down over anything such as Thunder King Riles, or just Quackimero Dracos, or anything that's just got high attack power, basically. Next, 2 Quackimero Draco, just to stop any special summons of light and dark monsters. Very good at stopping things like tour guide plays, some insector plays, some wind up plays, and some Chaos Dragon plays and stuff like that now. Some people keep asking me, does it not lock down your deck? Not too much. I generally, when I special summon first and then summon that card, or I just tribute out, so that way I get around the lockdown of the special summons for my light monsters if needed. But it's just there as a good card against the meta, basically. Next we have 1 Vanguard of the Dragon. Discard a dragon type, it gains 300 attack, and if it's destroyed, or actually when it's sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card effect, I automatically can resurrect a normal dragon monster from either graveyard. So very good for blue eyes, and also its discard ability is very good with white stones and stuff like that as well. Next change is 1 Delta Flyer. Yeah, I was looking at the extra deck and I was trying to really narrow down what it is I actually use in the extra deck, and I'm only using a few synchros now, so I think 1 Delta Flyer is more than adequate now just to get into maybe the Stardust or Black Rose that I need in order to do things. Its ability, of course, increasing monsters level is still very good for exceeding in that as well. So it's not a bad card, but 2 was, I think, a bit too much, since my deck doesn't really focus on using the extra deck a lot. It's focused mainly on the blue eyes, you know, getting the blue eyes out. The only card it will focus on is the Ultimate Dragon, but the other cards not so much really, so yeah. Next we got 2 Mash Dragon. Obviously it's the second engine of the deck to search out dragons that have got 15 attack or less. 1 Honest. I freaking love Honest. Well, I hate it when it's used against me, mind you, but I really like it because I used it in some of my more successful builds several years ago, and it was really frustrating when, you know, when my blue eyes ran into something that was either slightly stronger than it, or I could do nothing and from my blue eyes being destroyed via something else, and I wish I had Honest to drop on and thing. The other thing is it's a game ender, so well, as I said, I really like Honest. It's a cool card and everything, but I try not to use it for game enders if I can, really, because that's kind of not really fair, especially after a certain incident that happened with my little sister. I dropped an Honest on her when she summoned out a monster, and she got really upset because she hates Honest, and I felt really bad for doing that. So yeah, sorry Amy, I didn't mean to do that. Anyway, moving on. Next we got Sangan. Obviously to search out any monster I need that's got 15 attack or less. And before anybody starts, no, I am not adding Tour Guide to combo with the Sangan, because 1, I can't freaking afford it, and 2, I've got no room for it, and 3, I don't want to use Tour Guide anyway. So nobody suggest Tour Guide, please. Thank you. Next we have 2 Effect Veiler. Yes, I'm running Effect Veiler now. I was running Forbidden Chalice, as you know. It was my favourite card, my preferred card over, because I couldn't afford to get Effect Veilers and nobody had them for trade. But unfortunately, in the tournaments and against dueling people, online and offline and all that, my Forbidden Chalices were getting destroyed before I could use them if they were set down on the field, and there was no way to chain to them really, or chain them successfully, in all honesty. So the time had come to actually think about what to get might be better, so Effect Veiler was probably the better choice. I can run things like Skill Drain in the deck as well, but at the same time it can hinder the deck slightly, so Effect Veiler was probably the better choice. Mind you, it was pretty expensive to get those 2 Effect Veilers, but probably worth it in the end once we see how the deck does in the next couple of duels or whatever. Okay, onto the magic cards now, but I'm just quickly going to grab a quick sip of tea. Lady Grey, absolutely lovely tea. Sorry about that. Okay, magic cards now. Polymerization, obviously, as the main way to fuse into Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, and it's a good old-fashioned way. A lot of people keep saying run Dragon's Mirror, but I hate remove from play cards. I've tried Dragon's Mirror before, along with Return from the Different Dimension, to get back Blue Eyes. It's too specific a strategy, especially for this deck, so I prefer polymerization. Yes, it's a -3 or 4, whatever it is, but I don't care. It's a fun way to do it, and that's what I'm doing. Next we have 2 Pot of Duality, just to hand correction, search out anything I need. Again, some people say, doesn't that slow down the deck of special summons? And it's like, well, not really. A lot of the monsters I summon can be normal summoned anyway. As I said, I don't focus on having to get stuff out from the extra deck, in all honesty, so it doesn't really hinder me at all. Next, we also have 3 Upstart Goblin. As I explained in the previous video, this was the best draw engine I could think of for the deck that didn't hinder or cost me anything. Things like Cards of Consonance and Trade-In, Hand Destruction and Card Destruction, they're all too specific, and some of them actually help out the opponent. Yes, this gives the opponent an extra 1000 life points, but that one extra draw can change an outcome of a duel basically. So it was the best option I had for the deck that didn't need a specific requirement to activate. It didn't help the opponent out too much, and I could play it anytime I wanted basically. Staples now, of course, we have Monster Reborn to resurrect. I have to admit, I'm beginning to hate Monster Reborn because of what happened in the last tournament. If you don't know what I'm talking about, see round 2 or 3, I think it was, of my latest tournament videos and you'll understand. Next, we have, of course, Dark Hole to blow up monsters on the field. 1 Book of Moon to protect myself and my monsters. 1 Heavy Storm to get rid of back row. 2 MST to get rid of back row. 1 Foolish Burial to send anything I need to the grave for combos, white stones, Blue Eyes White Dragon, or just any dragons I need. And then we have, of course, 1 Forbidden Lance to protect monsters from spells and trap cards. Although it loses 800 attack, which I'm not so keen on, it protects them from all spells and traps that can affect it, like D-Prisons, remove from plays, cards, destruction cards, that sort of thing. Next, for the trap cards, we have 2 Metaphors. Now, I am so happy this has gone to 2. I never expected it to go to 2. I was really surprised, as I said, but hell yeah, hell yeah. I can't wait to use it. It's my absolute favourite trap card in the game. Then we've got, of course, 2 Torrential Tribute to get around like massive swarms and all that, and Metaphors, of course, helps massive swarms as well because it blows up everything in the battle phase. And then we've got just 2 Call of the Haunted. 3 was beginning to become a dead draw, really, and a lot of the time when I did set my MSTs too excitedly, my Call of the Haunted too quickly, they often got MST'd anyway, so I think 2 is more than adequate. I've got enough resurrection cards, I feel, in the deck, so I think 3 was a bit too much, and I had to take 1 out anyway to make room for, of course, a second Mirror Force, because who wouldn't use 2 Mirror Force? Okay, onto the extra deck now, finally. We have, of course, 1 Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon to summon out the Blue Eyes Shining. Risque, because I'm only running 1, so if it gets solemned or deprisoned or something, obviously the whole strategy goes down the drain, but there isn't any other really good way except for Dragon's Mirror to bring out a second one if I wanted. But as I've said many times before, I don't like... Dragon's Mirror is a good card, but I just don't want to run it because it's just... it's just not my card, really. Right, next we have 1 Black Rose Dragon, obviously to reset the field. 1 Stardust Dragon to protect my monsters from destruction. And 1 Light End Dragon, who is my favourite synchro in the game. Yeah, I'm only running 3 synchros now because I was really focusing on the extra deck and thinking, what is it I actually summon out a lot and what is it I actually use a lot. As you did see, I was using Brainiac for the last tournament just as a sort of little trollolol thing, really. But it's not in my deck anymore. I can synchro into 6s and that, but I don't really use that a lot. I just focused on what it is I really need, what it is I can get into quite easily, and those 3 were obviously the best choice. Next, for the Exceed now, we have, of course, 2 number 17 Leviathan Dragon, just as a nearly an almost 3000 attack beat stick basically when it comes out. 1 Queen Dragoon Jin. Dragon type monsters I control can't be destroyed by battle, and if I detach an XYZ material from her, I can resurrect a level 5 or higher dragon monster from the graveyard. Perfect for Blue Eyes, of course. Unfortunately, its effects are negated, it can't attack, but that's okay. Blue Eyes is a normal monster, so it doesn't happen too much. I can also use it with some of the Exceeds, not Exceeds, the Synchro monsters like Stardust, Black Rose and that if I need to use it, but it's mainly used for Blue Eyes. Next we have 1 Gem Knight Pearl. Now I really like this card. It doesn't have effect or anything, it's just 2 level 4 monsters, but it's 26 attack, pretty cool, and pearls are one of my favourite precious stones, so yeah, I thought it was really cool and I just wanted to have it, so yeah, I got it, so pretty happy. Okay, that is it for Blue Eyes Dragons, guys. I hope you really enjoyed that. As I said, the deck has changed dramatically, to say the least, especially after what happened in the last tournament. I have to admit I did not do very well in that tournament, but oh well, what can you do? I'm not too sure what video is actually going to be coming next, guys. As I said, I'm still really busy at work. I'm doing nearly 35 hours a week. I am absolutely exhausted, so I only had a half day today, which is why I was able to get this video done, thankfully, so yeah. But anyway, guys, you take care, and I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in whatever video decides to come next. So from me and the Blue Eyes Shining, we are all signing out. Bye!